Alright, guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Cyborg19.99, and they asked me to do a Patreon request involving a crossover between Tenchi Muyo and Mass Effect. So here we go. And as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can send me requests. Hit the 4th tier, of course. Yeah, hit the 4th tier, and you guys can send me requests for videos regarding anything within reason. And yeah, you can also check out the exclusive content over on Patreon as well. So other than that, let's get started with Tenchi Muyo Mass Effect. So Tenchi Muyo Mass Effect, this story is set in the far future, like in the Mass Effect timeline. There's no time travel or whatever. Basically, this is a story where the Tenchi Muyo characters are in the timeline. You may be thinking, well, that's impossible. They'd be decades old. Here's the thing. Jorians live a pretty damn long time. Like, they are basically immortal with very little change. So Tenchi, even though he is only half Jorian, he basically would be like a fucking king. Like, he would be still like in his like he's in his 30s, like early to mid 30s at most. Like, that's what he would look like. Also in this story, he is now king of Jirai. So this is set in the timeline of, like, in between Mass Effect 2 and 3. And this story kicks off with Jirai, which has been an empire that has been more or less, like, out in the distance. Like, Jirai is not really involving with what's going on in the rest of the universe. They've basically been like, yeah, we're just gonna stay out of this. We're just gonna, like, we're just not gonna get involved with whatever is going on in the universe, because we have our own little empire to run. So this isn't a problem for us. Like, this seems like a pretty big you problem. And yeah. And you maybe think, well, why does Tenchi think like that? Like, why is Tenchi, like, having that thought he's from Earth? Well, his whole thing is he doesn't want to get more of his family involved. Like, he's already lost his grandfather. He's lost all of it. And he's trying to maintain an empire because he doesn't like the idea of going to war. Like, he knows the last time he faced a villain this powerful like the Reapers was he lost so much. So he's trying to be like a good king and keep his citizens from, facing a war and leading so many people to die. But when Shepard and the Normandy arrive, they're like, look, man, war is on your doorstep, whether you like it or not, man. It is it is here. Like, and we could use the Jorian Empire's assistance in battling these opponents. Like, these guys, you may know what the Reapers are capable of. Or you think you know, but you really don't. Like, the Reapers are going to come here, and they are just going to wreck your shit. So Shepard's basically like, please, King Tenchi, we need your help. And Tenchi's like, I don't know, dude. Do you understand what you're asking me? Like, and he's like, and Shepard's like, look, dude, if you don't help us, then we all die. Like, we need everyone in support of this. So what happens is that Tenchi's like, look, let me just think about it, Commander. Like, I know who you are, Commander Shepard. I know, you're a legend, essentially, to everyone in the universe. So, look, I am just going to give me a day to think it over. Like, give me a day to think it over, and let me just think about it. So in this timeline, Tenchi is married to Ryoko. Yeah, so he is married to Ryoko. So Ryoko is now gone from the Scourge of Jirai to the Queen of Jirai, even though she doesn't like the idea of being a queen. But Ryoko is like, she's like, look, Tenchi, I'm not suited for being a queen, but I'm suited for being a warrior. And I'm probably the most powerful being on the planet, so yeah. And Tenchi's like, I know that, I'm well aware, but do we have kids to worry about? Yeah, they're parents. You'd think after a couple thousand years, Tenchi and Ryoko wouldn't have spawned. Yeah, they spawned a lot. So Tenchi's whole thing is like he doesn't want to see his family go to war and battle the Reapers. Unfortunately, that can't happen because during the night when Tenchi's thinking things over, someone showed up, and it's the fucking Reapers. The Reapers have shown up, and they brought some extra firepower behind them. Who did they bring with them? Motherfucking Kagato back from the dead. Yeah, they essentially resurrected Kagato as a Reaper hybrid. And now he's using he's now like commanding forces. He's now unleashing them. He can actually using experiments on the Geth to make them stronger. And they're basically like raiding Jirai to harvest people to take and analyze and steal them and harvest their DNA and like incorporate it into Reaper technology. Not only that, they steal one of the royal trees, which if you know your Tenchi lore, then you know that the royal trees are like a life force and an energy source for the planet and for the royal family especially. And they're weapons of great power. So needless to say, that's pretty bad to have in the Reaper hands. So Tenchi's like, oh shit, I need to go, and Shepard, I will assist you on this, and Ryoko's like, I'm going too, and fuck it, let's get the whole band back together. So Ayeka comes, Sasami comes, they've been like, Ayeka's been like, he chose Ryoko over me, but it's fine, it's totally fine, I'm totally fine with it, totally not better, but it's cool to have them back. Washu is along for the ride because she's like, yeah, yeah, let's go. And here's the reason why everyone's going. Because it wasn't just a Jiraiyan tree that was stolen, it was the youngest child, Tenchi and Ryoko's youngest child, that was also stolen. So they're all getting together to get the kid back. So Washu tags along, and as well as Sasami, and I think not Sasami, Kione and Mahoshi, who also tag along. You may be thinking, well, they're not Jiraiyans. They can't age. They age normally. That's true. But Washu finagled with their DNA and made them age much slower. So they're like, oh, I guess we'll fucking come along too. That's the thing with being immortal. You can just do stuff like that. So the old Tenchi gang is back together. They even get Ryoki, who's now got like a new like lion cat rabbit form. And it turns into her ship form. They blast off with the Normandy and chase after to get back the Jiraiyan trees, the missing citizens, and above all else, Tenchi and Ryoko's son from the Reapers. And yeah, so that's the quest they're on. So among all this is that Shepard's telling him like, now do you see what the Reapers are capable of, Your Highness? And Tenchi's like, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me or like rub it in. He's like, sorry, I didn't want to sound like I'm rubbing it in, but like now the Reapers have basically made you play your hand. You have to step in and assist us in the war, or they're going to do worse than this, and it could be next time your entire planet and the rest of your family. And Tenchi's like, they're gonna think twice about that when I'm done. And it's kind of funny because like even Ryoko and Ayeka like note how Tenchi has grown and changed over the years, in that he's become like more of the king they thought he was. Like he's more like stronger willed, he's more like intense, and he's actually like thinking like a leader, and Ryoko's like, that's what I want for like as my husband and my king. So they follow the Reapers, and Kagato's already having a grand old time because he wants to, use this Reaper technology to merge it with the Jiraiyan trees to enhance the Reaper technology. But he's also really excited to have Ryoko and Tenchi's child, like have the child so you can experiment on them too, like because it's a little Schadenfreude. Like I'm gonna have a lot of fun dealing with killing the two people who messing with the two people who basically killed me. So I wanted to have like this. I was thinking of like this fun scene where like a Reaper fleet is coming towards the Normandy and Ryoki, and Tenchi's just like, let my wife go out and say hi to them. So Ryoko gets deployed out and just starts wrecking shit left and right and announcing her, like, and Shepard's like, right before the Ryoko's like about to step outside, he's like, what's she doing? And he's going, announcing us. And that's when Ryoko just blasts off into the fleet and just starts wrecking shit. And Ryoko's like, I can't wait to kill you again, Kagato, because like this time I'm going to make sure it's permanent. And that's exactly what they do, because what Ryoko does is just grab him and just fling his ass out into the furthest reaches of space. And he just fucking just goes. So anyway, so there you go, guys. That is pretty much, by the end of it, Tenchi does accept Shepard's request to join. And yeah, so the Jiraians join the Alliance. But anyway, so there you go, guys. That is pretty much my Tenchi Muyo Mass Effect story. I'd like to thank Cyborg 19.99 for this request, and as well as their continued patronage support. Like I said earlier, if you'd like to support me on Patreon as well, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon and hit the 4th tier, where you guys can also send me requests like this. And yeah, I'll get to it. And yeah, I'll have your request out as soon as I can. There's kind of a few I gotta get to, but I'm trying to knock out as many as I can. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.